Hello everyone, and welcome back to Let's Play OpenTTD episode 11. It has been about 2 months, so thank you for all being patient, and let's just get right into it. So in the previous episode, we have connected up the temporary factory up to the north. We also added the steel pickup, which feeds into that over here. And one of the problems we were having was that there's not enough coal getting to this steel mill. We can see there's 12k iron ore waiting, only 144 coal. So we added a second train here. That's not enough to keep up with this little, I guess, temporary feeder. So I'm gonna double track it all the way over down to here and add another train or two. Man, it has really been a while. Oops. Okay. And there we go. And let's add a few more trains over here. Now, this is still only a temporary fix. As we can see, this is only producing 90 tons of coal, while the iron ore mines all across our map are going to be producing way more than that. I'm not sure exactly what the ratio of iron ore to coal is. But we are going to need to supply more coal. So what I'm going to do is set up a mini self-regulating network, or a little logic device over here, to divide the coal trains that are dropping it off at the power plant, to divide them between the power plant and the iron ore mine, or the steel mill. And we can control the proportion and tune it and see what works best. Ooh, and we just got a new engine. Alright, so the plan will be, first I'll move this split back, and this split will be where the logic controls the direction the trains go. And then up on this hill, I'm going to build a device that I showcased in my train counter logic video, and that'll be used to proportionally divide the trains. So I'm going to build it first and then explain it afterwards, since it's a little bit tedious to build. Alright, I had a bit of a hiccup there when I couldn't find the logic trains because I was using the wrong kind of track, but I got that sorted out. So let me explain what exactly this is. So over on the top with these two trains, we have a monostable circuit or edge detector. As you can see, when the train passes by, they stop, and then once the train leaves this block here, they let out a brief green pulse. So it's detecting the falling edge, or basically when a train leaves this block. So connected to that down here is a very simple state counter. It's just a circle, a loop with a train in it. And so it will count 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then back to 0. So as you can see, when this train passes, it'll advance to the next state. So now that we have that, we have essentially, I picked 6 different states, not for any particular reason, but it's just what I chose. So we can pick a few of those states to direct trains to the right and a few for the left. And we can adjust that proportion as needed as we see how coal gathers. Alright, so next let's set up the orders, which is very important. It controls how the trains will pathfind around. So like normal, we'll have a entry to the self-regulating network and an exit, I guess. We can just put it on the exact same spot on the other track. And I will call it the, I guess, steel mill SM self-regulating network in, and SRNW out. Now, all of our coal trains will need to hit these two waypoints. So I'll say, for now, I'm not going to mess with the unload, but we will remove that. So we'll go to the in, unload, and then go to the out. I'm going to remove the non-stop on the out. Let me just check that hit all the trains. So we have 16 here, and going to this waypoint, we also have 16. So yeah, that's all the trains. So once we remove the unload order from those coal trains, as soon as they hit the in waypoint, they're going to be pathfinding towards the out waypoint. So we have to make sure that for each of these two drop stations, when they pathfind towards out, they want to hit those stations. So currently, once they hit in, they're just going to see a dead end right here since this is a terminus station. So to fix that, we're going to use a pathfinder trap. So essentially, we can just add in a little loop over here, something like this. So now the trains will see that loop and say, hey, I can just turn around right there and head towards out. But of course, we don't actually want them to take that loop. We want them to head towards the station. So I'm missing a path-based signal here. So what we do is stick a two-way block signal there. So what'll happen is once they hit this piece of track here, this will turn red. And because of two-way EOL, that setting, they will see that as a dead end and they will continue on to the drop station. So that works how we want. Let me make this a little more compact. All right. So let's just check that this train can get through fine. Now the orders aren't changed yet, but once they are changed, we need this to work. So you can see that turns red right when that train gets there, so it's forced to the right instead of being allowed to turn around. On the steel mill end, we have a bit of an issue. So I want the coal trains to head to this drop station. So we could use another pathfinding trap there, but there's this steel pickup station also, and I don't want them to go that way. However, because this is a RoRo station, the pathfinder will see that it can just go right through this station and get back to this waypoint it wants to reach. So I could add a reverser over here so that path gets broken up, but that's kind of ugly. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to just switch these two stations. So I'm going to make this one the pickup and this one the drop off. Alright, so there we go. I had to send away the steel trains that were here, so now they're probably off lost somewhere, but I'm sure they'll eventually find their way back. So now we don't need any fancy pathfinder traps or anything, because the coal drop trains will just want to go to the RoRo station and avoid the terminus pickup station. I probably should add some more platforms here at some point, but do that later. I'm not going to worry about it now. So next, let's set up the actual connection between the state machine and the tracks here, I suppose. So this situation is a little bit awkward because not all of our trains are self-regulating network trains, only the coal trains. So the other trains we want to be able to pass right through and head towards the steel mill. And then some of the coal trains will head towards the power plant. All the pathfinding is set up so we can remove the unload order. Let's see, make sure that train can unload. So there it goes. Even though we don't have an unload order, it still unloads there because it is not a non-stop order. Now, at this point, this obviously isn't connected up, so all the trains will just go towards the power plant, and I want to really make sure that they go to the power plant by default. So I'm going to put some backwards two-way signals as a pathfinder penalty. So the way I'm going to connect up the logic is to basically turn off the power plant route. And I'll do that with a two-way block signal. And so I guess we can pick some states to turn this red. So I will just pick, I guess, states 1 and 4 to turn off the power plant direction. So if we just connect those up somehow. So now when the train is in either state 1 or state 4, the power plant route will be blocked. So that means 2/3 of the coal will go to the steel mill and 1/3 will go to the power plant. And then we can adjust that as needed. All right, so let's check that this works. We have a coal train approaching and it's going to trigger the counter. This will move to state 0 and it should choose to go to the power station. Let's see. All right, and there it goes. Sweet. Now we do also have all the other trains, so those are going to trigger the counter as well, but overall it should be about 1/3 to 2/3. Actually, I realized I screwed this up since now, because of this connecting track, the train is blocking itself, so that's not going to work. So instead, I'm going to use an OR gate. I don't remember if I've ever shown how to build one, but it's a useful gate. Not super useful, but once in a while, a situation like this, you need it. Yeah, so that's working, and we just want an OR gate. So if either of these two signals are red, we want the output over here to be red. So let's see, how do I do this? Let me see if I remember. Something like this. Yeah, should be right. Let's get a logic engine. Stick that guy out there. Okay, so there's our OR gate. If either of these signals are red, you can see the output is red over here. Let's add another signal over here so we can see easier. Output is red, even though only one of the inputs is red. Okay, so now we can actually test the left route towards the steel mill. Let's see when our next coal train's coming, quite a while. So here comes the next coal train, and I'm just going to move the state train forward one, so that the coal train will be directed towards the steel mill. So let's see. When it leaves this block, this should advance 1, this should turn red, and then everything turns red and the train is directed to the right, or our left, it's right, towards the steel mill. So there we go, it did head to the right platform and now it is unloading its cargo. Sweet. All right, so at this point, everything should be working. So 2/3 of the trains to the power plant and 1/3 of the coal trains to the steel mill. And meanwhile, these feeder coal trains have been filling up the steel mill with coal. So now there's 2.5 thousand tons waiting, while we have 1,000 tons waiting at the power plant. So at this point, I'm going to go around and make sure all our stations are getting enough trains. See, we have jam over here, so we'll need to upgrade to doubled mainline soon. So actually, I guess we probably shouldn't add any more trains since that'll just make the jam worse. So that'll leave upgrading for the next episode. So let me know what you thought of this episode. I know it was a little short, so I apologize for that. A little bit more technical with the self-regulating network. So it might be a little harder for people to get, but I hope you found it interesting. Anyway, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.